Howdy everyone, welcome back to the Looney Geeks Out channel, and we are finally getting around to reaction to Race to the Sea by Sabaton. A bit later than I wanted. I don't really have like a... what's the term I'm looking for? I don't have like a very concrete excuse like I had last time with my schedule having gotten really busy, having schoolwork to focus on and everything. I just kind of lost control of the week, and so I'm going to do this a bit later than I wanted, but I am getting to it, and I am very much looking forward to this one. The topic of it is really interesting, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I'm not going to ramble on quite as much as I did with Uncut Little Soldier, because there's not as much to talk about this one, but it's a fascinating topic, and I am looking forward to sharing with y'all. But I am also very much looking forward to the music, and you know, I had all of these talking points planned out, and I can't remember what they were, and I don't think they're really that important. Let's just hop into the reaction and not put it off any further. Yeah, the CGI there was a little rough, but you know, it works. I couldn't do any better, so I ain't gonna criticize it too much. As the Northstuk falls and the battle horn calls, our lives would never be the same. Beast right there. Down the barrel. Well, I love when it actually shines forth the South House. It's not always the most noticeable. Shut up, Big Metal Family Group Chat. As our foe draws forth, we are moving on north. We will never let them have it all. There's a price for freedom paid by Belgian sons. They may take our towns, they may conquer our grounds. We'll defend the nation and the crown. Definitely there, those changed up a little bit. I like it. All the way unto triumph for the judgment day. We will follow and we will not be led astray. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. Our steadfast will be the end of the race to the sea. The lapis of Belgians free. We're keeping a slipper. Cog in the war machine, October of 1914. To do the classic Sabaton thing again. I love this. Like, their stuff is very formulaic. Oh, I love when they do this so much. Talked about this last time. Oh, this always makes me so happy when they do have these slow moments. Really strong chorus in this one, just like the last track. Really stand out moment of the song, of course. The solo is really good in this one as well. I'll talk about that later. It's like just a classic, fun Sabaton track. Getting a little heavier there, nice. I mean, that's already come from the drums themselves. Yeah, that stuff is kicking up really. The drums just going a bit heavier, which I like a lot. Fills out the end of the track a bit more, has that good sort of elevation right at the end, which is a good thing. Keeps, you know, build up throughout the song. It's nice. It's nice. I may be butchering my explanation, but I like what they did right there. But anyways, that should be it. Yes, it is. All right, all right. That was a solid track. I think I prefer. I think my favorite to react to is still Christmas Tree, because that was just amazing. And this one and the last one were both just very standard Sabaton tracks. I think on Unkill Soldier or Soldier of Heaven was really doing something unique. With the heavy focus on the synths and everything, and having a very kind of retro sound to it. The past two have just felt like classic Sabaton tracks. I think Unkillable Soldier was just a tiny bit more interesting, but this was a solid track, and it's Sabaton. If you like what Sabaton does, then just a classic Sabaton track is not gonna be bad by any means. But I'll talk about all this in a moment. Let me talk about the history first. So, this track, The Race to the Sea, is not actually about the Race to the Sea. It is about the Battle of the I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a river in Belgium. But I do need to explain what the Race to the Sea is first, because it provides a lot of good context for this. So, the sort of classic idea of the Race to the Sea, and certainly the one that I had, is that it was, alright, we gotta get up north before these guys get up north to, control all the land or whatever. I don't know. It's never really explained what the Race to the Sea is. But that's sort of what I had. It's like, alright, so they're just running past each other, trying to get up north first, but that's not actually the case. So, this all starts out during the German invasion of Belgium. We all know the basic setup of that, at least I hope we do. Belgium is like, hey, wait, no, let me rewind. Germany is like, hey, Belgium, we're gonna take some troops through your land. And Belgium's like, no, we don't want you doing that. You can't go and do that. And Germany's like, oh, but actually we can do that. And they bring their troops in and they invade. And Belgium starts fighting back. And that's when everything really kicks off. And the Race to the Sea, I can't remember who started it off. I'll try to edit it on the screen. But it was basically, one of them was trying to get up north to flank the other, and then the other starts going up north to flank the first one, and so on and so forth. It's just this constant attempt to flank the enemy, and eventually they get all the way up to the North Sea. I think it was North Sea. They get all the way up to the top of Belgium, and that's what the Race to the Sea was. That's how things got set up for this battle. So this battle took place, I think it was October 16th to October 31st, 1914. I know it ended October 31st. It was either October 14th or October 16th that was the start date. I will edit it on screen. But, the battle itself, for the most part, was a fairly straightforward battle, but the end of the song is really what Sabaton, or not the end of the song, the end of the battle is really what Sabaton focuses on here, and is really the interesting part. Because they basically made the decision to open up the dams, to open up the sluices, I think the term is, and flood the lowlands, as opposed to what the song says, and flood the river. And that is technically a historical inaccuracy in the song, but I will chalk that up to, technically they are flooding using the river, so I'll just chalk it up to it had better flow in the song. So going after that as an inaccuracy is a nitpick, much like a lot of the stuff I talk about with inaccuracies and Sabaton things. And again, I plan on doing a long video on that topic one day, just because I think it's just, I think it'll just be a fun video to make. But anyways, they flooded the lowlands, and over the course of, I think it's 3 days at the end of the battle, the lowlands, of course, get flooded, and basically the Germans can't get through it. And Belgium remains in control of this one tiny area of land up at the north of Belgium, with Germany, unfortunately, having control of most of Belgium. But they have control of this one little area, which is a small victory, a very small victory, but it is a victory nonetheless. And it makes King Albert I this, national hero. The song talks out a little bit about him actually taking part in everything. I don't know the true extent to, how much he was taking part in the battle itself, but, he was taking part in everything, and it made him a national hero and everything. Part of, Belgium's national pride, all this stuff. Just interesting, aftermath to it, and interesting impact of it, and just just a fascinating end to this, for the most part, fairly straightforward battle. I mean, it had its interesting stuff, as any battle is going to have. No battle is going to be exactly the same, but that is the element that really sets this apart and what's really fascinating, what Sabaton focused on in the song here. So, I didn't ramble on quite as much, but I'm giving a brief overview of the events of the end of this battle and the context leading up to this battle. I'm not going in depth into someone's life story like I did last time or anything like that. So there's not as much to talk about here, though it is, I would say, equally as fascinating as the unkillable soldier. I can't remember his name, but not as much to talk about. So let me just hop into the music. That was a terrible, terrible transition, but let me just hop into the music. So as I said, it's a standard Sabaton song. It's not doing anything too crazy, which is, I would like to see them do a bit more with their stuff. Like I've said, it's very, very formulaic at this point, but it's still really good. I can't complain about the music itself. I can complain about how all the music starts to become pretty much the same thing, though. But I was trying to see what I was seeing there in the reflection. It's just my Navy uniform back there. I do not know if this will be cut out or not. Probably not, because I don't. What was the train of thought? What was I talking about? Yeah, the stuff's formulaic. But like I said in the direction, if you like what that sort of formula is, you ain't gonna complain about it too much. I like the stuff. Like I said, I wish they did a bit more stuff with the music. I wish they branched out a bit more, but I can't complain about what they're doing because it's good, fun music. But they did have some great elements. So I'll start off with the vocals, of course. Classic Sabaton vocals. They were a bit heavier in this track than the last one. I think they were about this heavy in, what one was it? Soldier of Heaven. They were a bit heavier than the last track, though, which was nice. But just classic Sabaton vocals. I really like Joachim's vocals. Really, really unique voice, really unique sound to him. So, I mean, I don't know what to say that's not already been said in past reactions and everything, but the vocals in this one were really good. The guitar, for the most part, was kind of weak in this one. Like, it didn't really have much of a moment to shine, aside from the solo, which I really like this solo. This is probably my favorite solo that's happened so far off of this album. Of the tracks I've heard, of course. I've only heard the singles at this point. Though I do have a CD of this, that came in the other day, so I will be listening to the album sometime soon on that. I'm very much looking forward to it. I've heard it is very good. But anyways, the guitar didn't really have much of a moment to shine aside from the solo in this one, so it didn't do too much for me. But the drums and the bass both really stole the show. The bass, just really consistent throughout, really good sound to it. I mean, it's, again, the very classic Sabaton bass sound, and it wasn't doing anything too crazy, but it was really good. It felt really nice. It's just something I talk about a lot. Like, if the bass isn't doing anything too crazy, but it feels really nice, I'm gonna love it, because bass is one of my favorite instruments, and generally, you don't actually need it to do anything too crazy. It's part of the thing of just, like, sort of the backbone of the track. You just need it there to make everything work, and this is doing that perfectly. Really, really good bass in this, even if it wasn't going wild or whatever. The bass really stole the show, and then the drums, very much the same kind of thing, just a very consistent beat. They kicked in at the end, going really heavy and everything, which I loved, but again, it was just, they really stole the show with just how consistently good they were. They weren't going crazy or anything, but they were crazy good, I guess, would be the way to phrase that, and you keep the terms the same and everything. But I really like the drums and the bass in this, and then the synths that kicked in during the chorus are really nice as well. Again, classic Sabaton kind of thing, but I really like the synths they use, and they were really good in this. The chorus was the standout part of the song. It was really good, super catchy. Not too much to say. Like, again, sort of a classic Sabaton chorus, but it was good. The bridge was probably the weakest part of the track. Like, the verses weren't doing too much for me, but they were fine. The bridge was just, it didn't really give me much of a, it didn't really give me much of an emotional response or anything. Like, the chorus, it had a few, not the chorus, the verses. The verses had a few moments like, oh, I like what they're doing there. Like, I pointed out one point where the vocals changed up a little bit from the first chorus to the second chorus. I thought that was nice. The bridge was just like, all right, yeah, they're doing this. I don't hate it, but it was the weakest part of the track for me because it didn't have much of a emotional response. But it was sort of the classic Sabaton thing. It was fine, but I think that was the problem. It was fine. It wasn't anything more. But aside from that, really good track. Probably, I would say this is the weakest that I've reacted to, because like I said, Christmas Truce, which is such a cool one, like just really unique sounded, and such a fascinating event. Soldier of Heaven just had a very unique sound to it again, sort of that retro synth touch in it and everything. I don't really like that. And then Soldier of Heaven was like this one, just a pretty standard classic Sabaton sound kind of thing, but that one impacted me a bit more. It felt a bit stronger, and I had a lot more fun talking about the topic as well. So this one, probably on the same level as the last track musically, but the last track resonated with me a bit more. So this is definitely the weakest I've reacted to, but that does not mean it is bad by any means. But if these are representative of the rest of the album, then it's going to be a good album. I watched the interview that the Charismatic Voice did with Joaquin yesterday, and I actually watched it over the past 2 days because I didn't have time to watch it all at one sitting. But he was talking about how this is apparently a very diverse album, which I'm looking forward to checking out what all they have on here. I've not heard anything of the other tracks. I like to try to go into things as spoiler-free as possible if I can. But if there's a lot of diversity on this, I'm looking forward to that, because I would like to hear Sabaton just do a lot of different things. And with a lot of their past two albums felt very samey. So if this one does break out from that a bit, then I'm going to be really happy. So I'm very much looking forward to checking out the rest of this album. And yeah, if this track and the rest of the tracks I've reacted to off of it are representative of what it is like, it's going to be a great album, and I'm not going to have any complaints about it, I'm sure. But anyways, I'm out of things to say about this track and about the album as a whole and everything. This was super fun. Like I said, I cannot wait to check out the rest. I cannot wait to see whatever Sabaton releases next, whenever that may be. And I cannot wait to see whatever the next thing I react to is. I have no idea what it will be. There are a couple of things that have released recently that I'm considering reacting to, but I'm also like, neither of them. Like, one of them, I'm going on a rant now. This is not part of the outro quite yet. I'm going on a rant. But one of them is the new Rammstein song. I'll go in and talk about this. I would like to react to it, but Rammstein, I don't. Generally, if something new releases, unless it's something that gets requested by folks, I'm only going to react to it if it's an artist that I have some kind of connection with. And Rammstein, I like their stuff, but of the NDH groups out there, they're not my favorite. They don't really resonate with me quite as much as, say, Eisbrecher, who I absolutely love. So I think it would be cool to react to it. I think it would bring in perhaps a decent amount of views, but I don't know. I'm not feeling quite the urge to react to it, so I'm probably not going to. And then if y'all know the group Leader, they're like a metalcore group. They just released their first song in I want to say 5 years. And I'm thinking about doing that because I got a lot of nostalgia with this group, but it's, again, I'm not quite feeling it. I think it would be cool, but I'm not quite feeling it. So I'm probably not going to react to either of them unless y'all have a lot of interest in either of those. If y'all want to see me check either of them out, of course, comment down below. But most likely my next reaction will just be, whatever the next thing on the list ends up being, with the random selection and all that. But anyways, ramblings aside, that is going to do it for the video. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below with your thoughts of the track, any feedback or criticism, or anything you want me to react to. In the description, link to the music videos, and you'll check it out, support the artist, link to my Discord server, my Instagram, my Twitter, the Spotify playlist of all the tracks I've reacted to, at least the ones up on Spotify, and I've lost my train of thought, the link tree, which has all my other stuff in it, in case any of that interests you. So, like I said, this is going to do it. So once again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing ya.